I'm still cafe.
Merħba fil-programm Maltese DownUnder, programm bi produzzjoni kollha kemm mill-belt ta' Melbourne. Jiena Marlene Scicluna insellmilkom u nirringrazzjakom li qed terġgħu tingħaqdu magħna. Fil-programm tal-lum ser nlaqgħukom ma' outreach żagħżugħa bl-ewwel pubblikazzjoni tagħha ma' politikant li llum huwa iċ-chairperson tal-Kunsill tal-Komunitajiet Etniċi fil-Victoria u ma' Christian li kien mibgħut bħala parti mill-Korp Diplomatiku Malti u llum għażel li jagħmel l-Awstralja l-art adottiva tiegħu. L-ewwel taqsima tagħna llum ser tlaqqana ma' Jess Skogstad għalliema u llum outreach tal-ewwel ktieb tagħha bl-isem ta' Enid and her two mums.
There's sort of a couple of stories that inspired the book. The first one is my niece Cora. She's got two mums and she's sort of at that age, she's 4 turning 5 very soon. And she's been asking a lot of questions. Why do the other kids at kinder and at daycare have a daddy picking them up? Where's my daddy? So there's been a lot of questions and they all get answered very honestly. But also, growing up in the 90s, my sister and I sort of experienced that same feeling of feeling different because our parents divorced. And so having divorced parents wasn't exactly the norm in the 90s, so we were part of like a special support group at school, and it was always something that we had to explain. No, my parents aren't together. So I can relate to that feeling of having a different family unit. So I don't want her to feel that sort of just that way that we felt, and I want her to understand that as long as you have a family that loves you, that's all you need. Yeah.
Actually, you know, despite the stigma towards families of same-sex parents, reality is, and research has shown, that children who are actually brought up in such relationships actually thrive. Do you think that children, now that you've got your own niece as well, do you think that for them it makes a difference whether they've got same-sex parents or not?
Not at all. It doesn't make a difference. My son has a mum and a dad. My niece has two mums, and I watch them together all the time. There is not a difference. They're both developing the same. They're both equally happy. It's nothing. It's adults that make it a thing. Yeah, it's not. It's like it doesn't affect kids. She's, you know, a fully functioning child with loving parents. So it doesn't impact kids.
After all, it's up to us, parents, no matter what kind of background you've got. It's how we're going to educate our own children to accept diversity in today's society.
That's exactly right. Hate is something that's taught, and we just need to make sure that kids aren't growing up being hateful and accepting each other. I've had people send me messages afterwards, like after reading the book, and where they've read the book to their kids, and the kids have asked, "Oh, why does she have two mums?" Because she has two mums. That's how this family is, and they just accept that. Okay, so it's an innocent question. They get an answer and they accept it.
So tell us more about the story of Enid and her two mums.
Okay, so it's just it's a very innocent look at exploring different family makeups, basically. So Enid's on her way to school and just looks around and notices that there's a lot of kids around her with a mum and a dad. And so then she looks at her own parents and wonders why she's got two mums and why she seems to be different. And then the day goes on and she just keeps wondering about it, and then she looks around and notices that there's kids with single parents, and then there's a boy with two dads, and she notices how happy he looks, and she realises that it doesn't matter what your family looks like as long as they love you. And I think that reinforces it for everyone that's a bit iffy about accepting same-sex parents as well, because like I said before, in the 90s, it wasn't the norm, and people may have judged people for breaking up and being single parents. But now that it's so acceptable and so common, it might make those that are a bit reluctant to accept same-sex parents to think, oh, hang on a second, yeah, it's no different to any other family. There's single parents, there's anything, there's grandparents, there's foster parents, there's step-parents.
Mentioning grandparents, even though Skogstad is definitely not a Maltese surname, your family is actually Maltese.
Yes, yeah, my family's from Gozo. We've got Skibberses, Portellis, the whole lot. Yeah, my maiden name is Shivaras.
Shivaras, yeah, not Skibberers.
No, never. But yeah, my husband's background is Scottish and Norwegian, and he grew up in Canada, and so that's where Skogstad came
That's where
from.
it comes from.
Yeah.
Mentioning Canada, actually, if we go back, first of all, a few months, you launched the book in Melbourne. And if I'm not mistaken, you were just in Canada and you launched the book there. Tell us more about the two launches.
Yeah, for sure. So I launched it at our local library about a month after it came out, and that was really awesome. I had a lot of people that I knew come along, but also a lot of just supportive people with their kids. Quite a few people from the LGBT community came to support the book, and it was a really, really fun experience. Sort of helped to spread the word in the local community as well, and that was great fun. And then we were going to visit some family in Canada a couple of weeks ago, and I thought, why not launch it there?
Take the opportunity.
For sure. Yeah. So we launched it at a bookshop there, and then it actually made it to #1 children's book for the fortnight. It was only met with positivity at both launches. Writing a book is something that I've always wanted to do. I would love to write a book that has a special meaning to my family, for my niece, for my son as well. They are both just so wonderful to see. Like, my son's going to grow up knowing that his cousin is just the same as him. There's nothing different. And that's what all the other kids need to learn, because not every kid might know another child that has same-sex parents.
Right.
So this might be the first introduction for them.
First publication. Are there any others that you're planning?
I'm working on one right now, following the boy from the story who has two dads.
Right.
So his name's Stanley. So that's the next story that I would like to get out. And I've got a couple more in the works where I just want to explore other stereotypes. So, for example, I know that, there's this pressure from society for boys not to cry, things like that. So I want my son to grow up knowing that it's okay to show emotions. It's actually healthy to show your feelings. Males can feel depression just as much as females, and there's a stigma in society surrounding that. So I definitely will be bringing out a few more.
Now, for our viewers who would like to find out more about the book and about yourself, where can they find the book?
There's a few places. They can find it on Amazon, on the Book Depository, Barnes & Noble. They can get signed copies directly from my website as well.
Which we will be running underneath here, so
Sounds
this website.
And I've actually gotten it into about 10 or so bookshops in Victoria and a couple in Canada. And I'll be hopefully getting a few in Malta this Christmas.
Fantastic. Yeah. So you're going to Malta. Do you plan a launch over there?
I would like to do some sort of event to get it out there. I'll be contacting the bookshops there.